Hello and welcome to today's CINC Office Hours webinar. My name is Kayla Priest and I'm on the CINC Live Events team here to answer questions from our live audience. If you are watching this later as a recording, welcome as well. I hope you enjoy learning from the tips I'm about to share and the questions that will come from our audience today. So I'm here on a test site that we're going to use so I don't do any changes to an actual live CINC site, but you will notice that there is a lot of test wording in our leads names and maybe a little bit higher incorrect contact information, again, because this is a test site. So I will start with a couple tips and tricks as those people who have joined us live are putting in the chat, either yes, I have a question, and then putting that question in, or no questions, just here to listen, which is also fine as well. So a couple tips and tricks to start with. I want to show a couple of things here on the dashboard. So the CINC dashboard looks the same on every site. The layout is the same, but I think that there are a lot of little kind of buttons and maybe hidden features that aren't as used as often or recognized as often. And so first, I want to show this little house icon right here. I think that this house icon can go overlooked, and by extension, even this pre and on this third lead down first here, these can all be overlooked, but they can give us a lot of information just at a quick glance. So we'll start with the house icon. If we ever saw a house here with no asterisks beside it, just the house by itself, that means that when the lead was registering, they answered the question, do you have a house to sell? Yes. So if they go a step further and then put in the home's address, so they say, yes, I have a house to sell, and also provided the address, that's when you'll see it like this with the little asterisk beside it. It's so small that it kind of looks like a little snowflake. However you want to think about that, that's fine. But when it does have the asterisk, it becomes clickable. And so we can actually click that house icon and see the lead's address. Now, if it's like this, and we actually do see quite a few like this where it does not have a city or a state. A lot of times that means they're local to you. So what I would do is simply copy and paste this part of the address into a Google search, and I would find that city and state, and then click my edit info button to fill that in. Now, the reason you want to do that, and all you need to have here, is the city, state, and zip. And we would update that to save that new information. The reason I want to put that in here is because then I can come back to this screen and click add subscription. And what adding the subscription does is it will subscribe this lead to a once monthly email with an update to the estimate of their home. So it is not a dollar amount estimate, it is a range. That is to give some padding because we don't know what condition the home is in. We don't know if they've done any updates or repairs to the home. So that range kind of gives it a pad, kind of softens so they don't say, well, I thought it was going to be worth this. We give them a nice range so they can't be disappointed if they hear that it's maybe not, the estimate is not what they quite thought it would be. So when we click confirm here, this will telling us that we have to provide a city, which we've already covered. So if we had already provided the city, once you add that to the lead, you can then click into their profile here. And here in the activities tab, it will actually give you a link to what the email that they're going to receive looks like. So that way you can even call them to let them know that that's on its way, or, just you have kind of a touch point to discuss that with them. So we're not sending something that you never get to see. You actually get to look at that and make sure that it's kind of in line with what you want to send. But that does go out automatically once a month when you add it the way I just showed you. And we'll go through that one more time really quickly. We clicked the house with the asterisk icon, and then we will complete this information if needed. After that, we click add subscription and confirm. After that, you can then click on this view subscriptions button. and it will have the subscription here. Now, again, it didn't add it because we're on a test site and we don't have that leads city and state in there. But once we add it, it would show us that here. Now, if it is just a house icon right here, then that's totally fine. We can get the seller's property and add it right in here. So I think that's a really underutilized tool. And it's a really great way to have an automated touch point with our sellers. Now we're also finding that a lot of our buyer leads are also people that have homes to sell. So they're kind of straddling that line of being both buyers and sellers. So as you are speaking with your buyer leads, make sure you ask, do you currently own or rent, and see if they are looking for a second home or if they are looking to sell before they buy. And then put that information in there to be able to follow up with them. Now, I promised that I would also touch on these other icons quickly. So our pre-icon means that this person indicated when they signed up for the site that they were pre-qualified for a mortgage. So, and that could mean they are currently working with a lender, or it could mean maybe that they filled out, a form online to see if they could get pre-qualified for maybe how much it could be. So it could be that they are locked into working with a lender, or it could mean, that they've just kind of done some initial digging, but that is indicating that they have maybe taken some extra steps to be ready to buy. And then coming down to this third lead here, we see first, and that just means that they told us when they're registering that they are a first-time home buyer. Now, it is very possible that someone registers and skips those questions, right? They put their contact information in, they come to the next screen and they're like, I don't want to answer anything else. And they bounce, they leave the site. That's totally fine. All we need was the name and the contact information to create their account. But that may be why we end up seeing people like this Tamara CINC test lead right here that doesn't have any of those icons. The only icon that this lead has is the auto tracks one. And this auto tracks icon just means that this lead currently has an auto track on her that is active. Now, if you want to know what auto tracks that is, again, we can click into the leads profile here and then go to the auto tracks tab. And this will show us what is active on them currently. And we can see that it is the holiday campaign, and this site is set up to send the holiday auto tracks all the way through 2025. So we've taken care of the automation work all the way through 2025. Now we can see that a lot of these have skipped because these have already passed. These are holidays that already happened for the year, but we can see that the email that's going to send on Christmas Day is still scheduled for the 24th, so Christmas Eve, at 8 a.m. Now, other things that I think are underutilized on the dashboard here, and again, if you are here with me live and you have some questions outside of these tips and tricks I'm sharing with you, go ahead and put that in the chat. I've just got a couple more that I'm going to go over before we wrap up for today. So let me know if there's something specific you want to ask while we're here. So I'm going to take a look in the activity tab. I think that it is really underutilized where we can see how many homes and how many views the lead has looked at, but also the saved search. So I think that's one thing that I wish I saw more agents doing was after they have the first phone call with the lead, where we find out a little bit more about what they're looking for in terms of location, beds, baths, price point, any features, and then of course why they're looking to move, is we're not going in and updating that in the lead saved search. And that's something that's really critical to do, because another piece of automation that CINC has set up for you are the property alerts to go out to your leads. And those property alerts are the #1 driver of traffic back to your site. So if they're getting a property alert and it is defaulted to go out daily, so if they are getting a daily property alert that matches something that they're not actually looking for, especially after they've shown it or told it to you, then it looks like you didn't listen, or they will just become unengaged. Worst case scenario, they unsubscribe. So then we can't connect to them via email at all. So it's really important that we go in and adjust the saved search once we know. Now, what can we do about a saved search for people that we haven't spoken to yet? We can still make some little tweaks to make sure that it's as engaging as possible. So let's look at both of those scenarios. Let's say I haven't spoken to this person yet, but I just want to do a quick spot check to make sure that their saved search makes sense. I'm going to click where it says 2 views here. And this is where we can see this lead viewed this one townhome twice. So we can maybe go in and check to make sure that townhomes are included in the saved search. Now, if this was someone, and I'll try to find someone that has a few more views, we're going to look at a CINC estimate here, where it says 9 views. Here we have of quite a few homes that they viewed, and we can look to see if there are any common denominators in this. We can see that a lot of these homes are up in the low to mid millions, which I hope that that's what they're actually looking for. And then we have this one that's down at 395,000. But and this could also go opposite, right? They look at one multi-million-dollar home, but then all the rest of them are in the 395 to like 450 range. Then we can make that adjustment as well. Now, hopefully we've already had a conversation with this lead and that's how we know this information. But again, we can do it just as a spot check even before that. So in that case, I would click where it says 1 saved. And really, in either case, I would click 1 saved and I would click to make edits. Now, I'm going to actually choose a different one because it looks like this one's already had some edits made to it. So I'm going to go back to my other example, a CINC estimate, and click their saved search. And here we can see there's that really big range. So I'm going to edit that. So this is where we can adjust, and maybe we'll just move to make this a little bit, give us some more results by making the bedroom search, kind of widen that a little bit. Again, this is especially good for people that we maybe haven't spoken to yet. But this is where we can make that adjustment. If this was down at 349,000, but that's our one outlier, we can kick that out and start it a little higher, or vice versa. If someone again had looked at one multi-million-dollar property and then all the rest were, like 395 to 450, we can make that adjustment. Here's where we can change the property type. So again, if they have looked at both single family and townhomes, then we can do that and select multiples here. So these are really the only, in this general section, the only ones that I like to touch, especially if I have not spoken to anyone. But the other place that we can make sure that we touch is the location here. So I can see that this person was looking in the city of Cumming. And if I haven't actually spoken to this person again, I can try to make that a little bigger and choose cities that I know are, similar, that are around that. You see, I'm just starting to type something in, and then I'm letting my drop-down menu open up and selecting it from here. But I'm only selecting cities because I can only do one location type at a time. So you notice there are a couple or a few different location types here. Cities is one, counties is one, elementary schools is another, high schools, junior highs or middle schools, communities. So those are all different types of locations, and I can only use one location type at a time. And so in this case, I'm using cities, and I'm only selecting from cities in my drop-down menu. Now there's a really important button here, and it is save. Save is one of the most important buttons on this entire saved search. So we have to save when we make changes. And that's the only way that the saved search knows that we are finished. And now this is ready to send out for the next one. We can also, though, change the engagement, meaning how often this sends out. So if someone ever emails you, stop emailing me, I'm getting way too much from you. We don't automatically say, yes, okay. I say, I'm so sorry that, we were sending too much email. What would be a better schedule for you? I can even send them one time a week and let you know how often they'd like to receive that. Now, I also want to point out that I just made another change, so I need to click save, but I can also flip over to this other tab, search results, and see all of these plotted out on a map. And I can also scroll down and see all of my beautiful results. I definitely see some homes here that I would not mind buying. This is also where we can select a few and let someone know it was great to speak with you today. Here are a few homes that I, thought would really meet everything that you're looking for. Let me know your thoughts on them. It's a really good idea to do all of your communication out of CINC. So that way we are able to track, did the person open the email? Did they click on any of the homes? How many times did they view the homes? Did they favorite the homes? Let us do all that tracking and use all of that data to your advantage. All of that information is saved in their profile. We will let you know if they opened emails, if they viewed homes, if they favorited homes, if they put an inquiry in for more information. So those are my tips and tricks that I think are overlooked, underutilized on the CINC Leads dashboard. I want to thank you for spending time with me today. And if you're watching this later, for watching our recording, you can register for other upcoming webinars at cincommunity.com/webinars, or you can watch recordings at cincommunity.com/recordings. We have tons of playlists here with lots of vital information that'll help you use the CINC site easier and have more success. If you are a person that likes to learn in person, we would love for you to join us at CINC University Live. Those are our in-person classes, and you can find out more at cincommunity.com/CINC University. Thanks again for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope to see you on another webinar or at a CINC University soon, and happy holidays. Bye, everybody.